Very warm welcome to the Understanding Users podcast, brought to you by Researchable UX. It's great to have you with me. I'm your host, Mike Green. I'm a freelance user research lead and digital consultant based in the UK. Over the coming weeks, I'm going to be chatting to various digital experts who I've had the pleasure of working with in recent years. These are intended to be relaxed, informal chats with professionals who are keen to share their experiences. So sit back and enjoy. In the final part of this 4-episode mini-series covering the fully remote UCD Gathering 2022, I chat with some of the conference attendees to hear more about why they came to the event, what they enjoyed about it, and what they will take away from the 2 days of sessions in their own UX practice going forward. I also asked them about the role they feel that user-centered design can and should play in ensuring the maximum impact on product teams, and therefore the end users of digital products and services. These conversations are with experienced UX practitioners and newbies alike, so even if you didn't attend the event, I hope you'll find some useful and revealing insights here. Thanks for listening. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
My name is Barbara, and I am a service designer at a company called Opencast.
My name is Morgan Tangay, so I'm UX designer at This Is Milk, which is a Scotland-based company.
I'm Neil Turner, so I'm currently a lead product designer at a company called Redgate Software.
Hello, my name is Sarah, on an extended maternity break, but using my time to pivot my career into UX.
My name's Jenny Bjorkman, and I am a UX consultant and founder of a small design studio called Interactive.
My name's Emma. I work as head of business improvement for a housing association in South Wales called United Welsh.
So I'm Stephanie Cruz. I'm a service designer, and I've had media role before. I used to be a developer. I've been a tester. I've done a lot, but service design is really what I enjoy doing. And at the moment, I'm working at Soprasteria.
And is this your first time at the UCD Gathering?
No, I've actually joined I think it's been 3 previous gatherings, 2 or 3.
Yes, this is my first UCD gathering, but I'm sure it won't be my last. I did attend another event back in February by Tech Circus, and I do find that events and meetups are just a brilliant way to meet new people and hear a range of perspectives from different practitioners.
It's the second time.
So yeah, I've been every year since it started. It's great.
So, out of interest, what was it about what you saw and learnt last time that inspired you to come back again?
Well, the first thing was the platform, because it was online, and I just loved the platform that they were using. They clearly thought about the users, and it was the first sort of online conference I'd been to that had a garden with meditation. It had, it just thought of all the different elements that you need when you're at a conference. In fact, to the point where I actually took it back to my own organisation and introduced DigiFest in a very similar format, just to engage with our colleagues around their digital skills. So it inspired me from the very first click of the button of entering the event. So yeah, it's that, but obviously with the high caliber of speakers and the content, it's just so thought-provoking and lots to learn and take back for sure.
It's always really well thought out content. There's always kind of themes going through it, and it's always very, very current and very, very relevant. And there's always something to learn. So,
I think I have attended in the past because I've actually talked about design debt a number of years ago. But no, I've been to a number of the software acumen sort of conferences in the past. Always found a really great way to meet people, to learn a bunch of really interesting things, and to broaden some of my own experiences and maybe share some of my experiences as well.
So I like that it's online. So for me, that's really good. And there's a good mix of different theme in that conference. So you can, depending on what you like, if it's UR you're into, or if it's content design. There's always a bit of accessibility as well. So yeah, I like the mix of subjects that we have at every time.
The way UCD Gathering has recreated the conference atmosphere in the remote or virtual world I've not experienced a conference that has made me feel the same way. This is probably the closest to what I would like to get out of a remote conference as from what I have been able to experience.
What in particular has stood out for you in the last couple of days? Key takeaways or things that really resonated with you?
So, I mean, the first keynote by Tim Yu, it was incredible and spoke to me on so many different levels. Being an introvert, so the session was about design leadership for introverts and using introversion as a superpower. I thought was just a great line. I hadn't ever thought of it in that way at all. And I've always shied away, I think, because of that introversion. So him flipping that and presenting that in a way that empowered me, and I'm sure other people listening to the conversation, was a real good start to the event. Today, I must admit, I was really inspired by Audrey Fletcher talking about the track and trace and the inclusivity of that service, and just the challenges around convincing leaders and budget holders to think more laterally and more inclusively around designing services that are going to meet everybody's needs. I mean, it's quite incredible to think that still is a challenge that we all face. But ultimately, hearing Audrey and the journey that they went on with that was just so inspiring and makes it more believable that, you know, we can do it. So, yeah, I was really taken aback by that one. And then Debbie Levitt as well today, the customer centricity presentation. I only managed to catch a little bit in between sessions, but her energy around customer journey and you know, all the interactions there was just so much to unpick. And interestingly, I'm here with a couple of colleagues and we had a chat going on the side, just saying we need to take this back, we need to have a conversation about this. And you know, it was just prompting so many thoughts and feelings for us in our own organisation and what that looks like for the services of our customers that we have as well. So.
There were a couple. So I think Tim's keynote from yesterday really resonated with me. But like, I'm not an introvert, but my husband is. So we have that kind of. I have to pick up sometimes where he's not lacking, but it's just not his. It's he'd rather it wasn't in his wheelhouse. So I tend to front load on the research side because I find it much easier to build up a rapport quickly with people than he does. So that talk really resonated. And then also Millie Shaw's from yesterday. So in polar opposite to that, I think my husband's been doing this for like 20 odd years. You know, he's a design creative director. So he's very used to pitching and, you know, having people crit his work, which I'm not quite as used to because I'm a bit newer in the field. So listening to Millie talking about feedback and how to really separate yourself from your work was really useful. So I've actually got in touch with her separately about that.
I'm a bit biased. There's someone from my team, Catherine and Yana, the talks they did about mentoring, because that's another thing that's really important to me. So because I did a talk at that conference, but also do lots of other things outside work to try to get people to learn and to help them to learn a bit more. And mentoring is great. That's something I really enjoy. And the way their talk was showing that it's good for the mentee, but also for the mentor. And it just creates a different way of bringing people to design and working together and growing yourself as well as a mentor, because it forces you to reflect on your practice. So that one, I really enjoyed that one. And what else? There was one I really enjoyed as well about feedback by Millie Shaw. So it was for content designer, mostly to try to see how to get feedback. And there was a lot of tactic and strategy, even with stakeholders, that I've really appreciated in that talk.
I particularly liked what Tim said about encouraging yourself to write some posts, blogs, perhaps just comment on things that other people have written. And he said that your perspective is always unique and always interesting, and at least it is to somebody. And that was really reassuring, I think, because I've often felt that what I've been thinking's been said before, it's old hat, or that I'm just simply not experienced enough to have anything useful to contribute. So hearing that was encouraging. And he said that people out there will probably want to hear, or perhaps even need to hear, what other people have got to say. So it's given me some confidence to do some of this myself. And in fact, it's one of the things that pushed me to come and chat to you today, Mike.
Yeah, I think a few things. So I think one, I think there was a really good. I think as always, there's a really interesting kind of breadth in terms of, you know, I think sometimes design conferences, they can be very kind of craft focused, you know, and I think the nice thing about something like UCD Gathering is there's a really good breadth of topics and of speakers. One talk that particularly stood out for me, and I guess partly because it resonated, was the about kind of more of an introverted design leader, because I guess I would probably describe myself as a kind of an introverted design leader, certainly to a degree. So I think it was really great to kind of see, well, there's other people that have some of those same challenges, but also in terms of some of the some things to think about. And I think that's the other thing that I always really like about something like UCD Gathering, is you always take away lots of really applicable, actionable things. So, it's not just, hey, this stuff is really interesting. It's kind of like, yeah, there's some things I can start to, how would I start applying this straight away, or how can I share this with my team, with other people in my organization. So it's not just sort of theoretical or stuff which is fun but maybe not so actionable.
And final question, how in your view can designers ensure that they're having the most impact on the product teams, the service teams they're working with, and by extension the end users?
So I think it's right from the start. It's making sure that they understand what you're going to be doing and what they are expecting of you, because I think we have tight deadlines. We work super fast, but we should really take the time at the start to understand each other, what we're going to be doing and how we work. Because if there's a conflict right there, that someone doesn't understand what we do, or maybe some overlap, it's going to be a problem in the work. So I think that's where you should, and we tend to do that with people who are new to design. So we explain, but sometimes we just assume that because the others are designers, they will know. And I think we shouldn't assume that. We should always explain how we work, because we are all very different. And it's important to take that time at the very start.
I think there are many ways, because I think the way that we work can be so impactful. But I think if there is one thing that I would sort of highlight as the main way, it's about using our soft skills like communication and empathy, and sort of being able to educate and upskill in very subtle ways, using those soft skills and helping the teams that we work with collaboratively do the best work that we're trying to do. I think we work best when we work almost as enablers, in those subtle ways that people may not always realize. It is a thankless work very often, but I think it is one of the most impactful aspects of what we do on a daily basis, and we often do not recognize it in ourselves, I think.
There are a few as well of challenges. So I would say, I think trying to keep collaboration going on and being remote, I think that's one of the main challenge I have personally at the moment. And the second challenge that I've experienced since I've started my career in UX is convince people of the importance of accessibility and considering users being user-centric in designing whatever it is, websites, apps, platforms, softwares. So
Big ears, listen. The biggest thing is listening. So and really talking to people as regularly as you can. So you really need to be in continuous discovery. So you need to have your discovery team set up, and they need to be constantly talking to your users to make sure that everything that you just to make sure that you're making the absolute best design decisions that you can at every stage, and that you don't get too far down the line before you've built a bunch of stuff that doesn't work for someone. So, and then it becomes really expensive to fix it.
As sort of designers and researchers, in a sense, that is a so I wouldn't call it a superpower, because I think that maybe can make it sound a little bit pompous. But I think that there's a lot of the skills of user-centered design and user research and UX design that can really help when it comes to things like collaboration, in terms of empathizing, in terms of understanding, in terms of being able to see from other people's perspective, that can be really effective when thinking about, well, what's important to this group of people or these people. How can I better understand them? Because that'll help inform working with them, in terms of maybe that collaboration, or in terms of how we're going to collectively achieve what we want to achieve.
I mean, just listening to Audrey today, just the stories, they just speak for themselves. And I think, being open to that and ensuring that you're listening, and you're, creating those opportunities to listen and take, real life examples of what an experience is and how that works. It's so powerful. So I think, ensuring that you have those opportunities, and you're creating those opportunities using a user-centered design approach is going to enrich what that design looks like, and ensure that it's doing what it needs to do.
I hope you enjoyed this short episode of Understanding Users. Join me again next time, and I'll be chatting one-to-one with another UX professional about their career and asking them to share their knowledge, tips and insights with me. Until then, stay safe and stay user-centered.